Question Time is probably the biggest audience many politicians will get, and it's a particularly big deal if you're a backbencher.
I've always found it nerve-wracking. In fact, when I watch it now as a viewer, every time the music comes up, I really get complete terror and my stomach tightens. And I never was able to use Enoch Powell's advice to me. He said, never go to the lavatory. A full bladder gives you the tension for a good performance.
I sometimes wish I got more nervous, because it's the absence of nerves, it's sheer complacency that leads one to forget to read the newspapers on the day and to walk straight into traps like not knowing the identity of this asylum seeker who I'd completely forgotten about.
Do you think it was the correct decision to allow Yusuf al-Qaradawi into the country?
Boris Johnson.
Now this is the guy who was very, very abusive, yeah, wasn't he? And full of hate speech of one kind or another. Yeah. I can't remember. You've really got me here. I can't remember the exact circumstances of his admission. Presumably he was seeking asylum, wasn't he?
No, he's come here to speak for Brotherhood of Islam.
I'm perplexed as to why he's been welcomed into the bosom of our great nation. I look forward very much to hearing what the Minister for Constitutional Affairs has to say about it.
Yeah. Do you know what the leader of your party says about it?
Since he is a man of fantastic sagacity and judgment, I imagine that he said more or less what I've said.
The worst thing is when nobody on the panel knows what the question is about. And there was one occasion down in Truro in Cornwall with Tony Blair, and the question was an entirely local issue.
I rather wonder if the total number of sewage treatment works in Cornwall would exceed 3.
Is this treated sewage or raw?
No, it's sewage.
Raw sewage.
When I looked up, nobody could answer it. And I did a sort of scan. I could see Tony Blair, for once, looking rather terrified.
And Leslie.
Yes, I just want to say that, of course, it's absolutely disgraceful. I didn't know about St. Ives, but of course we must have more sewage treatment plants.
Many years later, we both remembered with horror the time that we went to Truro and none of us knew what that particular question was about.
A panellist, I work out, gets about 6, 7, possibly 8 minutes to talk to that large audience. So you have to take it very, very seriously. And I read all the papers for the week and try and anticipate the questions. Sometimes I had a list of 150 possible questions and I've guessed them all. I don't work out the answers.
At this moment in time, where are the panel coming from with regard to the Plain English Campaign's list of our most annoying phrases?
Tony Benn, the question was, at this moment in time, where are the panel coming from with regard to the Plain English Campaign's list of our most annoying
Well, in the
phrases?
ultimate analysis, when we put it out for consultation, there's absolutely no doubt that we've got to get a level playing field by changing the goalposts so that we can name and shame people into regime changes all over the world. And if we could put that out and bring vulnerable people in the community closer to the community in which they live, then there's no doubt the bottom line would be very much clearer, and I feel that's the way to do it.
It's very good fun, Question Time. Also, it goes out rather late, so you have this feeling that you can kind of go for your shots a bit and say what's on your mind.
What we need to do is to get back to organic methods of production.
All I can say is I go into the shop and I see these organic things. They cost much more than the other stuff. They're stunted, mouldy little things covered with soil. And I go, and there's the other stuff. Lovely, luscious, big stuff grown with fertilizer or whatever it is, and I buy it for my children and I feed it to them, and they're jolly healthy.
That you have vast hordes of kids, uncorrected, roaming housing estates out of control. It's about time somebody did smack them and keep them in at 10 at night.
Joe Brand.
Oh, I'd like to give Bernard a bit of a smack for that.
Does the panel think that the lack of any credible opposition since the last election
bodes well for democracy in the UK.
Is there a credible opposition?
Not really, no. No, I really won't get to the Lords.
Roy Jenkins claimed that certain members of the Labour Party, in particular reference to members of the GLC, were trying to get control of the police forces in order that they could sort of use political influence on it. And I'd like to know what the panel think.
Alan Taylor, what do you think about this?
To tell you the truth, I don't think anything about it at all.
If everybody who gave up the programme was as honest as that, we'd never have a programme, just for the money.
No, if you think I'm going to start thinking about this problem, you're very mistaken.
One of the reasons Arthur Scargill, I suspect, wants a referendum is that he doesn't anyway believe in parliamentary democracy because he is a Marxist.
Yes, I am. I'm a Marxist. The trouble is, Michael Portillo's a Marx and Spencerist, and that's what's getting us into this difficulty.
One does hear of worse cases, real sexual harassment, and I wondered where there is a line to be drawn.
Well,
Can I suggest you fight
could you
back?
say where you draw the line, Shirley?
The critical thing to do is fight back. If somebody pinches you on the cheek, pinch them back. If somebody pinches your bottom, pinch theirs. It's amazing what an effect it has.
How far would you go with that?
No, I've said no more.
Well, I don't think you actually see sex on television, do you? You see simulated sex. And they're actors. And it may be distasteful, but I never watch it because I prefer the real thing.